Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Join us from the brilliant Cross City Line, and as promised quite a while ago, we are going to do a full run on the Cross City Line. So we're here at Lichfield Trent Valley, right on top of the West Coast Main Line Trent Valley, which sounds like there was just a freight, oh no, a Pendo going through there below us here at Trent Valley Station. And yeah, we're going to be heading down to Bromsgrove, I believe. So let's hop in. Well, I'm going to split this video into two, as it's quite a long run down to Bromsgrove. I think about 1 hour 20 minutes. Let's get the door shut, and let's get going. So we've got lots of stops. We'll go through it in a second. First off, let's get out of Lichfield Trent Valley. Cool. And we are off. So got free coach 323 for this one. Lovely train to operate. One of my favourite actually. Love the 323. Nice cab, easy to drive. Can't really go wrong with it. Hopefully audio is at a good level. And we're sort of a semi-fast service, but not a semi-fast service. That we are still calling at many stops. But we're not stopping at Shenston. And we're not stopping at Dudderston. So we get 2 less stops. And I'm not sure about Barn Green. I'll check Barn Green in a second. So I'm not certain of my stopping pattern. As we come across the point. So we'll do a little brake test actually, just to make sure they are working. Yeah. Speed that up. It's not too much further to Lichfield City. Well, a fair few services do terminate at Lichfield City, and then some go on to Trent Valley. This comes down to I think 30 miles an hour or so into Lichfield City. This route I'm not too bad with. I know this route fairly well, especially the southern end of it, from New Street down to Bromsgrove and Redditch. I know that bit better than this bit. This bit we don't drive as often, as there's not really much, well, there's not really any layers this end of the route. Although there is now a couple of cross-country services you can drive along this part of the route, which are quite cool. But most of the action is on the southern part of the route, where you get the Turbo Stars, 350s, lots going on. 20, even slower. Slow that right down. Of course the next one's the 6 coach one. That's the one I want to do, a 6 coach service. Of course the next one is a 6 coach. Always prefer the 6 coach ones, as you can literally whiz into every single stop at top speed. Whereas with the 3 coach one you sort of got to be a bit more careful, because you might be stopping only halfway down the platform. Whereas with the 6 coach you can just go straight in at full whack. This is Lichfield City. Cool. So we're north of Birmingham at the moment. The WMR livery. And yeah, then we'll take a look at our stopping pattern, but we get a bit of a gap after this one, down to I think it's Blake Street after this, as we skip out Shenston. So I think it's the Redditch services for a stop there. And here we are. Yeah, that'll do. Cool, and right side door release. So we're going to be calling at, let's have it, probably a minute late. Blake Street, Butler's Lane, Four Oaks, Sutton Coldfield, Wild Green, Chester Road, Erdington, Gravelly Hill, Aston, Birmingham New Street, Five Ways, University, Selly Oak, Bournefield, Kings Norton, Northfield, Longbridge, with use of Barn Green and Bromsgrove. So yeah, we got a while. So I'll probably split it maybe at New Street. Is that sort of the natural splitting point, really? Well, I think New Street actually is a bit closer to Bromsgrove. But it's sort of, yeah, feels like the natural place to split the video. So that's where we'll split it. So part 1 on the northern section, part 2 on the southern section of the route. Well, we've got to try and be fairly quick because, yeah, we are a little bit behind schedule already. A minute late, even though we've been going at, like, line speed. Go on, train. Yeah, been wanting to do this sort of run since the 170 timetable came out, which was back in July, I think. Was it July or August? When they brought out the 170 pack for this route. But yeah, we're finally doing it. As we should obviously notice quite a bit of a difference at the southern end of the route busyness wise. We got 60. And that drops down to 55 somewhere up here. Speed that up. I think there's even a speed board if you're going back the other way where it's like fallen over, but that's like how it was in real life. At the time. So a bit of a fast part of the route. And more of a sort of rural part of the route as well. As once we get to Blake Street, it's basically just through built up Birmingham the whole way through to Longbridge. 55. Oh, there's the tipped over speedboard there. Look, you get the warning for the 45 on it as well. But that, yeah, I believe was like that when they sort of did the trip for this route to sort of see what it's like. I doubt it is still like that, but and up to 60. I highly recommend it though if you do have the well, if you have the Cross City Line, get the Class 170 Turbo Style pack, which gives you the West Midlands Railway and the Cross Country 170. Complete route changer, drastically improves the route because basically all of the extra layers now for this route you have to have that 170 timetable. So yeah, highly recommend. With the original timetable, the 2019 one, or sort of that's when it's set, 2019, you don't get the Voyager layers, you don't get the Pendo layers, you don't really get, well, much. And then the speed next drops down to 50 or 55. That's literally as we're coming into Blake Street. Although we've still got to go through Shenston first. Should be coming up fairly soon, so we'll see loads of houses here, sort of a bit of a giveaway. Let's get a flyby shot through Shenston. It loads in really late this one. It's been sort of an issue since, well, it wasn't too, yeah, they literally just loads in as you're coming up to it. It's not all services stop at this one. And that's one thing about this route, there's lots of service variety because it's not just A to B. This route, you've got Lichfield Trent Valley that goes down through New Street and then down to Barnt Green, and then the route splits into two. You get the Redditch branch line which goes to Redditch via Alverchurch, and then you get the sort of main line down to Bromsgrove which goes down the Licky Incline. But then services don't just, I mean, yeah, some of them do the full length of the line, but then some will only go from Lichfield to Longbridge. Some will only go from Four Oaks to Bromsgrove or Redditch. There's lots of variety in service patterns. It's not just the same every time. And yeah, some are 6 coaches as well. And there's also another DLC for this route as well. You've also got the Centro 323. I wonder if we'll see that on this run, which gives you the sort of classic. It's a heritage livery, giving you the Centro green and yellow and blue. Hopefully we'll actually see that one on this run. That'd be pretty cool. So I think that was developed by what's their name? I can't remember what their name is. The people who did the Centro pack. They're the ones who were working on the Peak Forest 104. Generally can't remember what they're called. Yeah, there was another third-party studio who did the Centro pack who were working on the 104 for Peak Forest. Cannot remember what they're called though. I think it's something Train Sim. Although on that front, what has happened? What has happened to the 104 for Peak Forest? It's just like radio silence. It's like disappeared from the roadmap, I think. Well, coming up to Blake Street. Cool. There's the 50. So it's just round here and into the station. Here we are. I thought I'd set the weather for fairly sort of realistic as it is today. Sort of a November overcast grey day. Still wish there was live weather for this game though. Well, there is now a mod on PC where you can have live weather. Yeah, live weather would be such a cool thing to have. Because dynamic weather's pants on here. Alright, yeah, that'll do. Oh, hang on. That's close enough. Bit of a grade, yeah, 1 in 100 up here. Just about on time. Dwell time is minimal here. And Butler's Lane after this. After a bit of a hill start out of here. There's another one coming in. The 323 is on quite a few routes now. The West Midlands one's on the Birmingham to Crewe route if you own Cross City Line. And you also get the 323 on the Glossop line in Manchester, as well as the ATS Manchester Airport commuter route. So we've got the 323 is sort of the default train for 3 routes. There's a nice train, really nice train, and a fairly straightforward one as well to drive. Which sadly for this line they have now retired. They don't run on the Cross City Line anymore, sadly. And they got retired last year. And this is Blake Street, or was it from Blake Street or Butler's Lane? Oh, coming up to it. I think for this one we do go down to the end of the platform. Here we are. I think so. Yeah. So even a marker? Yeah, an S-car stop marker. I think we're still going uphill as well. Just be careful with the brakes. Yeah, that'll do. This is, was this one? Butler's Lane, and then Four Oaks after this. Four Oaks is where some services terminate there, start and terminate from. We then sort of get into the central part of the route, sort of. So you'll see more trains. So yeah, Four Oaks to Longbridge is sort of the busiest section for the 323 services. So I think the service before this one was one from Lichfield Trent Valley to Longbridge. I was just like, should I do that one? But I thought, nah, let's go all the way. Alright, speed that up. Then we sort of come round and down into Four Oaks. Which we have got to be careful coming into Four Oaks, as there is quite steep down into it. Just going to stay at 50 for now, as it ain't too much further along. Now we should sort of curve round to the left in a second. And that's where Four Oaks is, that you can see it coming up now. So let's get some breakage on. Got to be careful as it is autumn. We don't want to slide down the hill. Slight reduction in the speed to 55. Big difference. I don't think we stopped that far down the platform here, so coming in a bit slower for this one. Is it just after the canopy? Oh, there it is, there, the free, just by the footbridge. You got the very distinctive and very strong branding actually for West Midlands Railway. Sort of just the orange colour scheme. Really, really strong branding. And here we are. Actually, sort of on top. Another 6-coach one. They're the ones you want to do. They're the best ones, the 6-coach ones. And that one's going to Trent Valley as well. Sutton Coldfield next. There is a list somewhere on the forums which tells you all of the 6-coach services. Which is why I find on the new 5-circle timetable it's quite handy, because it sort of indicates which ones are the long trains. Whereas on this route you don't get that. It's sort of, yeah, by chance if you get a 6-coach. Cool. And down the hill into Sutton Coldfield. It's all just downhill really into New Street. Got the warning for the 35, which doesn't start just yet. There'll be a 45 first, I think. 45 or 50. It's got the old sort of stencil speed board. Cab lights on, and are they? Hardly any difference. Seems very sort of bright in the cab for sort of a dark and dismal day. And we should then go around to the left fairly soon, and we go into the tunnel, which then takes us out to Sutton Coldfield. Here's the 35. I think we go around to the left. Do we not? I think we went around to the left. We definitely do coming into the station though. Probably one of the nicest looking stations on the route set on Coldfield. It's a really nice stop. And we stop down by the end of the canopy. There's the marker there, the 3-car marker. Nice and steady. Yep, that'll do. Sutton Coldfield. Which, yeah, it does have a really nice sort of feel to it. It's a nice stop. Right, door's shut, and it's Wild Green next. And we're off. Bit of a gap to Wild Green. And sort of fastish as well. And let's go. So 35 at the moment, then going up to 60. Just going to kill the power just quickly. Don't want to sort of go above 35 before the back of the train's past the board. There we go. Let's go. Again, we have got to be somewhat careful, especially at some of these stations like Gravelly Hill. Because yeah, we have set it in November, which means the track conditions will be slightly more slippy than, say, if you did it in summer. So you have got to sort of factor that in the back of your head, that you've got to be slightly more careful coming into stations, as otherwise you might go straight through the station. Which a route you really, well, train and route you really feel it on is Birmingham to Crewe. I was doing a run on that the other night. I think it was like the 10:30 or something, Pendo from New Street to Wolverhampton. Completely pitch black, full cloud, full rain, full wetness, and that was a slippy, slidey the whole way to Wolverhampton. Coming into Sandwell and Dudley, it was just sort of sliding down the platform, even at a low speed. Proper nasty. Right down to the end here at Wild Green. And here we are, this is Wild Green. Look at that, bang on. Cool, and then Chester Road after this. Yeah, Chester Road, Erdington, Gravelly Hill, Aston, and then New Street. So about 17 minutes to New Street, and that's where we'll split the video into two. Just as it is quite a long run. Let's watch it leaving. And again, you don't really notice much of an effect of the new timetable at this part of the route, or on this part of the route. Yeah, once we get into part 2 from New Street down to Bromsgrove, that's where we'll start seeing Turbo Stars, Voyagers. You'll notice a big difference there. This bit, not so much. And we curve around to the right, and that's where you've got Chester Road Station. Now right down to the end here as well. Cool. There's the S marker. There you go, bang on again. Oh, Chester Road, and we are, well, we're basically on time. Now people, on and off you get. Erdington after this, which again isn't very far. Let's go. I wonder what the signal box is round here. Aston AN Alpha November. That must be Aston, mustn't it? Aston. It must be a signal box there, or some sort of signalling. Well, I mean, Birmingham New Street's got a big signal box there. Yeah, I assume the one which controlled it must be Aston AN. Like down here, you get TB or TBD, I think sometimes. That's for Free Bridges. There's the next stop, literally just there. And yeah, will we see the Centro 323? Which I think in all of the videos I've done so far of this, I actually haven't seen it. Towards the end as well, I think, at this one. Down towards the end. Another S coach marker. And here we are. Is this anyone's first time seeing this route? There's no one ever seen, well, maybe this part of the route before. And if so, what do you think? Yeah, it's a pretty nice route, this one, because it is sort of the full package. Right, door shut. And yeah, it's also quite handy having this route now for Birmingham to Crewe, as you get the extra 323 services, which actually are, there's quite a few of them. That's not really an appealing shot, is it, that one? Yeah, we get it anyway. So, Gravelly Hill up next. Which it's quite steep coming down into, so we've got to be careful. And we don't go all the way to the end of the platform either, so we've got to be even more careful. Been about half hour now since Trent Valley. And we're sort of drop down by that sort of where that next bridge is after this one here. That's where the station is. Because it sort of goes down. GSMR's turned itself off for the day, always after half hour. No idea why it does it, but see, step 2 brakes is basically doing what step 1 does at this stage. Sort of slowly coming down, and step 1 doesn't really do much. This is Gravelly Hill. Which, yeah, you don't go that far down the platform here, so you gotta be careful. Here's the marker here. Very easy to go past this, especially if you get wheel slide. There we are, the floating 3-car stop marker. Yeah, it's basically a place that you just about fit in the platform. And Aston after this. So we're coming into the centre of Birmingham now. Sort of get slower and slower. We get yeah, 50, is this 50 here? 50, then it comes down to 40, then 20 into Aston. And after Aston, we get to run fast to New Street. So we're not going to be. I don't think we stop at Duddeston on this run. We don't get the pleasure of stopping there. So yeah, we have missed out a couple of stations on this run. So I think it's the Redditch services which I think stop at Duddeston and Shenstone. Or more so the Redditch services, or Four Oaks. Then we've got Spaghetti Junction coming up, which is the massive sort of motorway interchange coming up. Various, so I was saying it's the M6 and all of its numerous slip roads all coming off of each other. Wanting for a 20, I think it does come down to 40 beforehand, I think. Yeah, here's the 40 here. Oh, that's the one too. It's Simtrack Studios. There we go. I remember. Yeah, Simtrack Studios. They're the ones who do the ones who did the Centro 323, and the ones who were working on the Peak Forest 104. Yeah, Simtrack Studios. I think it was something Sim. Yeah, Simtrack. Yeah, from here we may see some other trains, because I think the 350s come along here. So we might be lucky enough to see one of those. Down towards the end. Is the S-car stop marker. And here we are. He's having a good old yap on his phone, and is he getting on? You getting on? No, he's having some sort of argument on the phone. Oh no, he's getting on. Yeah, straight to New Street. Well, you usually get a bit of time at New Street as well. Yeah, it says we get 3 minutes there. So you get a little bit of allowance for any, signals or following other trains. let's go. So 20 to begin with and 30. Slowly speeds up. Over the canals. Very prevalent here in Birmingham. Lots of canals about. Where's that line go? Anyone know? Where's that go? Yeah, where does that slip off to? And we got 70 here. Cool. Doesn't last for long though. It comes down to about 60 or 50. Drops down, you know, doesn't last for long. So it's almost like a big curve just into New Street. With Duddeston in the middle. Is this the 60? Hope it's not 50 or anything like that. Yeah, 60. So yeah, this is Duddeston, which we do not have the pleasure of stopping at on this journey. Let's go straight through it. And I think this station was actually one of the first places we saw working off indicators. You can see on the platform there was an off indicator. I think it was the first route where we actually saw sort of one working, which was pretty cool. Yeah, 50 there. And the 30 begins just up by the next signal, which I did see we have got yellow. We did have a yellow on it, so we must be following something. Potentially one of the 350s maybe. Or just another 323 service. So joining up with the West Coast Main Line here. Would be great if we had this part of the West Coast Main Line in the game. Audible Studios, please make it happen. Birmingham to Milton Keynes. This goes off down that way towards Birmingham International, Coventry, that sort of way. Then you got Birmingham Curzon Street on the right hand side. Ah, there it is. Nice. That is the Centro 323. Yeah, developed by, well, made by Simtrack Studios, that one. Just a little pack, I think it's about a £5 or so. Gives you the Centro 323. Just adds a bit of flavour to the route. Nice. And you got Birmingham. What is it? Snow Hill Moor Street. I think it's Birmingham Moor Street, which you've got just here, which is the one of the terminus stations of the Chiltern Main Line, which is the slow diesel main line from London to Birmingham. Speed will drop down even further. it's, is it 10 or 15? I think it's 10. Well, no, 15. Yeah, slightly faster from this end. Whereas if you're coming in from the Birmingham Crew, it's 10. Which is slow. Too slow. Oh no, it does come down to 10. Not much of a difference. Just 15 for about 100 metres. Not even that. Well, this is where the video will be split. So then we'll come back with part 2 and go the rest of the way down to Bromsgrove. There you go, see some turbo stars here, which on the original Cross City timetable you won't see. You won't see Pendos, so it adds quite a lot to it. Nice to see, 350 over there as well. So I'm coming right on the far end platform. Then you've got the West Midlands and the cross country 170s. Just cross country here at the moment. I don't think there's actually any stop marker here. I just remember you have to stop sort of by the, it's like a staircase at the end, sort of towards the end, you have to stop there. That's sort of where it wants you to stop. And we've got a couple of minutes here as well, so good for splitting the video. So a natural point to do so. We are sort of halfway, probably just over halfway. You sort of come down by the staircase here and stop. I'm actually by the little metal. There's a 170 going out there blocking us. Another 323 coming in. Yeah, it's about here, I believe it likes you to stop. So let's stop here. Cool, do that. DR8 on. Well, that is going to be everybody for part 1 of our Cross City full line run adventure. Hopefully everybody, you have to drag this one. You have to drag it, don't you? Yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoyed it. Yeah, that was the northern section of the river shed. That doesn't really much change with the 170 timetable. Although once we get onto the southern section, you'll see a lot more trains. Links to usual places: Discord, PayPal, merch store, as well as our affiliate link for UK departure boards. See you all in part 2. See ya.